everyone, and welcome back to the Gonzii Sports podcast. I'm your host, Gonzii, and today we have the NFL predictions, bro. Come on, man. Let's do this thing. I waited until the rosters were pretty much all finalized as I'm recording this video. The Saints already named the starting quarterback and everything. That was what I was kind of hoping for, that all the rosters came out and everything like that. So without further ado, let's start with the NFC East. Last place, I have the Dallas Cowboys, okay? I know that might seem low, but bro, they are having a nightmare of a preseason. They are just so poorly run, man. Jerry Jones cares more about headlines than he cares about winning. And that's just the facts of it. And I don't care if the Dallas Cowboys fans that find my podcast are like mad about it. I don't care, man. It's the truth. Your team is run by an attention-seeking lunatic. That's who he is. That's who he is, man. So I have him finishing last. That defense without Micah Parsons. And just before I started recording, there's been a report that the Packers have sent a trade request and are willing to pay Micah $48 million a year. So let's see how that develops, man. I think they don't have a running game for starters. They are bad against the run on defense. They are bad against the pass. The secondary is trash. I just think they're finished last, man. In third place, I have the Giants. Why do I have the Giants? Because of that defense. That D-line, it will probably be the best D-line in the game. With Abdul Carter, Thibodeau, like they have dogs on that D-line, bro. Absolute dogs. They will be menaces in the trenches. And I think Russell Wilson won't finish the season as a starter. I think that after the bye, they'll probably go to Jackson because he showed promise in the preseason. And I think the amount of moon balls to Malik Neighbors is going to be outrageous in the first part of the season. I can see them flipping the Giants and the Cowboys, but I think that's pretty unanimous that either the Giants or the Cowboys will finish last in the division. Next, I have the Commanders, man, in second place narrowly. I think it will come down to week 18, between the Eagles and the Commanders. There hasn't been a repeat champion in the NFC East for 20 years, man. The last one that did it was Andy Reid with the Eagles. They won it 4 straight years. So will history repeat itself again and not crown the same champion? Now, but my only issue with the Commanders is that defense, They signed a lot of veterans in the back end of the preseason to try and patch a lot of the holes they had. So I don't know. But that O-line, though, that O-line is much improved with Tunsil and everything. So let's see how they fare, man. I have them finishing. I think they will come down to that game, I think it will be very close until the very end. And I think the Eagles just edge it. I don't expect the Eagles to go like 14, 15 wins. I think it will be like 12-ish for both teams. I think the Eagles will edge. I have both the Eagles and the Commanders in the playoffs, man. Now let's go into the AFC East, man, where I have the Dolphins finishing last in that division. Every single report coming out of Dolphins is that they were angry at the Bears for taking practice too seriously. I think the Lions O-line dude said I don't think we both call practice the same thing. So a lot of stuff wrong coming out of Dolphins practice, bro. And let's just be honest here. Without Tua, they don't score and they don't win. And Tua hasn't played a full season, was in 2023, man. Like, he has missed games in some shape or form ever since. So I have no indication that will change. So I have the Dolphins in last, man. I think Tyreek does not want to be there. They are trading everything they can out of that defense and that O-line. I think outside of the wideouts in Tyreek and Waddle, I think the run game is pretty mid. Their O-line is pretty mid. The secondary is trash, by the way. That Dolphins defense is horrid. And guess what? Once it gets cold, they don't know how to play football. Tua's hands shrink, the ball gets hard, they don't know what they're doing. So I have them finishing last. Then I have the Jets, man. The Jets, some worrying signs coming out the Jets camp as well. That Justin Fields is just bad. He just can't throw a ball up the seams, man. I think I think they will have a pretty good defense, man. But Aaron Glenn needs more time. He needs more pieces to get that O line fixed and everything. So let's see what they do. But I'm not expecting much from the Jets, man. Then I have the Patriots in second, not making the playoffs. I think they will finish out with 7 wins. I think Drake, not a sophomore slump, but I don't expect Drake to take that next step just this season. I don't think he has the weapons. I think if you take away Stephon Diggs, he has nothing to work with. So, and the run game is pretty mid as well. The whole line, I'm not sure on. The defense will be good because of Vrabel, because he just builds nasty defenses like he did in Tennessee. But even in Tennessee, man, it only lasted like 3 seasons, you know? The back end of it was pretty bad. So then I have the Bills. No surprise here. The Bills making the playoffs. I think they are counting on Keon Coleman taking the jump, taking that second-year jump, man. And let's see if he does, man. He struggled a lot last year. He struggled. If you compare him, he was done the same draft class as Xavier Worthy. So if you compare the two, it's not even close, man. Worthy just outplayed him for everything, you know? So let's see how he does, man. I hope he does well for the Bills, because the more competitive the Bills get, the better it is for me as a Chiefs fan, because I want to watch big games. So yeah. Let's get on to the NFC West, man. So in last place in the NFC West, I have the Seahawks. I think Sam Darnold is about to go full on pumpkin again. Because without his best receivers, man, I think Cooper Kupp at this point is much. He plays every other game. He just hasn't stayed healthy for a very long time. And that Triple Crown season was an outsider season, because otherwise he just misses a bunch loads of games, man. And without Stafford throwing him the ball now, and him being the main focus, because you have to remember, Puka Nakua was there for. So yeah, man, I think Sam is going back to full pumpkin without the protection of Kevin O'Connell, without having Harrison, Jefferson, and a good run game. I think that O-line is very bad, in my opinion. The secondary for the Seahawks is okay. It's okay. That D-line is also fine. But I just think Sam is not the guy, to be honest. Then in third place, missing the playoffs again, I have the 49ers. Despite them having a last place schedule, I think they don't have the weapons anymore, and I think that defense will struggle mightily again, because it's one of the youngest defenses in the league, and let's see if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, then they will make the playoffs, because that he has that much of a cheat code. But when you trade for Sky Moore, of all receivers, I just think you don't have that much confidence in your receiver group, man. Jawan Jennings does not want to be there. He wants to get paid. Trent is getting on, man, and your O-line last year wasn't that great. The D-line as well is getting on, man. Very old players, with a lot of mileage on those legs, man. But I think they will improve, not enough to make the playoffs. And then I have the Cardinals making the jump. I think the Cardinals, man, are being slept on. Tyler looked bad in the preseason against the Chiefs. I didn't watch any more Cardinals. But Marvin Harrison taking the jump. I like the whole line. I just need Kyler to stop trying to be any other thing than Kyler Murray. I need Kyler to be Kyler. If he is Kyler Murray, still, they will be fine. They don't have that much. They have a weak schedule. I have them making the playoffs, and in first place, I have the Rams. Stafford, it seems to be full go for the Texans game. And now with Devontae and everything, man, I think they will be dangerous, man. They will be dangerous. Stafford is an elite quarterback in my top five for sure. So yeah, man, I'm expecting big things from the Rams this year. I just hope Stafford can stay healthy. I just hope that. Let's go on into the AFC West, man, where a lot of people saying it's the best division in football this year. In terms of coaches, it's not even close, man. So, but in last place in my division, I have the Broncos. And that might shock a lot of people because I think they will be like 7-10. I think 7-10, but they will finish last. Somebody has to, and I think they have a stronger schedule this year. Last year they got a lot of bad quarterbacks. They beat two starting quarterbacks. They are starters this year. They beat Baker, which was a very good win, and Aaron Rodgers. That's it. All the other guys would either with backups or even third stringers at one point. So, and I think it'll be close, man. I think it'll be very close between the Raiders and the Broncos for that third spot, which might give playoffs this year. But I have the Raiders just above because in the last game of the week, in the last game of the season, they played the Chiefs. And by then, the Chiefs have secured the 1 seed. They upgraded in everything, man. In the coaching, in the running back, in the quarterback. The three main things they upgraded on. And they just traded for Amari Cooper, man. So, not that he is a force multiplier, but he is something. And then I have the Chargers in second. And then I have the Chiefs. First place, Kansas City. My dog, hell yeah. Probably one of the second best division in football, in my opinion, this year. In last place, though, I have the Vikings. Yeah, I have the Vikings because I did not like what JJ was producing in the preseason. I think he looked pretty bad, man. Then in third place, I have the Packers, man. I don't think Jordan Love is the guy. I've watched a lot of Packer ball, and I just think the guy is average, man. I don't see nothing in his game that makes me go, "Whoa, that's the guy." I don't. I think he's above average for sure, but I just don't think they have enough, man. I think the receivers are not that good either. Although they just drafted Golden, the guy seems good, but I don't. The whole line is good, but pretty flawed. He hasn't put together one full season of good ball yet. So I'm gonna until that happens, until he can stretch a full season of consistently great football, I'm not ready to crown him yet. So third place it is. Then I have the Lions, man. The Lions second in the playoffs. I think Dan Campbell's culture will just continue. And despite the big losses at coordinators, losing both is very, very hard. But I think you slot any good coordinator in there because of Dan Campbell. I think the team will always be ready to take kneecaps off. And Aiden is back this year. They won't have as much unluck with injuries as they did last year. So yeah, second place, but not good enough to beat the Bears. It's true, I have the Bears winning the NFC North, man. I think people are sleeping on Caleb way too much. Outside of that first drive, where if they fumbled the transition for the jet sweep, he got sacked and then he threw a ball away. Outside of that, he was excellent. It was like 11 for 15, 160 yards or something like that. Two touchdowns, no turnovers. Now, AFC North, I have the Browns finishing last. I think they will be like 0-8 to the bye. I'm calling it now. The schedule is brutal, man. And then they will go on to Dylan Gabriel who will struggle because he just isn't that good. And then they will, by the end of the year, on the last like 4 games, they will end up going to Shador. And I think by then Shador will be ready to dice up the league, man. Then I have the Steelers in third, just because the Browns are worse. That's it. I think the Steelers will have a losing record. I think they're going to be awful. Yep. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to stink the gaff out, man. He looked terrible in training camp. Terrible. Absolutely terrible, man. And I only have one team from this division, by the way. Yep, I have the Bengals flaming out as well. I think that the offense will be slightly worse than they were last year, because last year they were like legendary. Because the defense sucks. They are awful. The Colts put 31 on you. You made McGee from the Eagles look like prime Tom Brady. Your defense is atrocious. And I know Trey is back. You just bumped his salary from 16 million to 30 million, and then he walks next year for nothing. So congratulations, Bengals management. That is stonks, bro. It's such a poorly run franchise. You're on par with the Cowboys, man. You should have traded T. Higgins. Joe Burrow. By the way, that O-line as well is terrible. Watch for that O-line. Burrow is going to have to score 100 every game, and it might not work because that defense is that bad. The secondary, bro, it's atrocious. Atrocious. Why didn't you trade T. Higgins and got better in defense? Jamar, it will be pretty awesome as well. And Yoshivas. Got it. Done. That's it. I know he's not T. Higgins, but your defense is going to suck, bro. And Burrow's going to be running for his life for that O-line, like we saw in the preseason. Then the Ravens, of course, number one, playoff bound. I just realized one thing. I had one less team for the AFC for the playoffs, and I had one extra team on the NFC. So now I got it 7-7 with 3 wildcard teams. Okay. So where was I? For the Ravens. Okay. So I had to change. I'll get onto it when we reach the playoffs portion. But yeah, the Ravens, they're just gonna be better. They are a great team. Lamar's gonna be excellent in the regular season. Derrick Henry will be better than last year. So yeah, let's move on into the NFC South. Sorry, where the Saints will be last in their division. I just think the quarterback stuff. Shot or whatever his name is going to the bench. Is not even going to start. Is it Spencer Rattler? I think it's the starter for the Saints. They're going to be terrible. The defense is awful. They don't have nothing that pops to the eyes. Then you have the Panthers, better but not good enough with Bryce Young. I think there are rumors that Adam Thielen is going to the Vikings. So if Bryce loses his best weapon, it's even worse, man. But it'll be better than the Saints. Then I have the Falcons just missing the playoffs. I think Penix is very, very good, but not enough to make the playoffs. And then I have the Bucks with Baker cooking for the first spot and the only spot in the NFC South. Then in the AFC South, I have the Colts last because I just think Daniel Jones is trash as a quarterback, and Richardson, the guy just can't get the hold of it. He just can't. Then I have the Titans with Cam Ward. I think Cam will be okay, but I just think he doesn't have weapons, man. I think Calvin Ridley was good 5 years ago. Also, don't like the whole line. Secondary is pretty average as well. So the Titans in third place. Then I have the Texans. I think the Texans have suffered huge losses to that O-line. I think CJ will be able to push them through in that second spot to the playoffs. And then I have the Jacksonville Jaguars first. Just makes sense. Trevor, healthy. Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr. They have a good running back, a good O-line, good defense. It just makes sense for them to go to the playoffs and winning that division. But I think it'll be a pretty competitive division, man. I think it will be pretty competitive. So that makes the following bracket for the postseason. My number one seeds are the Bears and the Chiefs. The playoff bracket that I have with these winners is Bills versus Raiders, Jaguars versus Texans, Ravens versus Chargers, Eagles versus Commanders, Lions versus Cardinals, and the Rams versus the Bucks, which then leads to the Chiefs versus the Ravens and the Bills versus the Jaguars in the divisional round, which will take the Bills and the Chiefs to the AFC Championship game, where the Chiefs will win again. And on the NFC side, Bears versus Commanders, Commanders win, and Lions Rams, the Rams win, which will make Commanders versus Rams, and then the Rams will beat the Commanders for the Super Bowl of Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Rams, and the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Book it, bet your house on it, man. Come on, don't, please don't bet your house on these predictions, bro, because I'm just a dummy trying to predict a sport that I only started watching 3 years ago. So so yeah, man, I have the Chiefs versus the Rams in the Super Bowl. My number one seeds are the Bears and the Chiefs. Now my MVP is Patrick Mahomes. Yep, with the return of the deep ball, Mahomes is going to put up godly numbers again. Offensive rookie of the year will be Travis Hunter, and the defensive rookie of the year will be Abdul Carter. Coach of the year, Ben Johnson. Defensive player of the year, Chris Jones. Super Bowl MVP, Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, those are my NFL predictions, man. Slate me in the comments, destroy me, do whatever you do. But just be nice, just be nice about it. No need to get offensive. Okay, now let's move on to our soccer portion of the evening. And let me rant about Manchester United. Oh my Lord have mercy. They are still bad. I was so excited. The Arsenal game was so good. They were unlucky not to win it. And then the Fulham game happens. The first 5 minutes are amazing. And then Bruno misses the penalty, skyrockets it over the bar. And the team just can't seem to get out of first gear, man. Again. And now Ruben has been questioned already. 1-1 draw against Fulham. Diogo Dalot just falls asleep and allows the cross to go in. It's just terrible defending, terrible offensively. Ruben needs to start Sesko. He just needs to. It was so bad. So bad. And then Bayindir is awful. I don't know, Onana is trash, but Bayindir is awful, man. So now Son Lemon is almost done by all the reports. Just stick the kid in. He can't be much worse than them two. He can't. Just stick him in, man. Just do it. And I think he played Bayindir out of ego because he was questioned by Sam Lackhurst. And I think it's just Ruben just played him out of sheer ego. And it cost him again. Because the guy on corners just falling over alone, man. Pissing me off, bro. So yeah, now they play Greensby for the Carabao Cup. They better win by a lot. That's what I'm telling you right now. They better score 5. I don't care. Start Sesko. Let him stat pad, bro. They need to. They play Greensby, so they need to win by a lot. 5 goals, not concede. Look dominating. Dominate the ball. Dominate possession, and just go out there and win. Let's move on into my club, Sporting. Beautiful Sporting Club Portugal, yeah. On the weekend, we won 4-1 against Nacional da Madeira. Very cagey game at the start. Like Nacional scored in the first 2 minutes from a corner. Then we went after it, and then Pedro Gonçalves suffers an injury. goes outside of the pitch with the miraculous spray, yeah. Then comes back on, can't even put weight on his feet, goes back out, everybody just heavily taped ankle, and he comes back in and scores an hat trick. And all banger goals as well, by the way. He was by far the best player on the pitch by a country mile. We were just piling on the pressure against Nacional. Once again, we played against 10 men because that defender is just stupid, bro. He stepped on the defender's foot for the first yellow and then just football tackled, NFL tackled Kocharashvili. So he tackled him, got sent off, and then we went on to win the game 4-1. Very good display. And the third goal was scored by Konrad Arder, and he's on his way out of Sporting, man. A lot of fans are not happy with this decision. I am more than happy to see him go, because I just think the kid is just not good enough. And he's very raw. He has tons of potential, but he's stubborn. He wants to start now, and that was never going to happen. So he is entitled. He's a kid, I know. He is 20 years old. We bought him in the last day of the market 2 years or last year. I think it was last year, as a backup for Gyökeres. And now he's going to AC Milan. It's pretty much all done with AC Milan. 23 million plus objectives. And Scottish Ioannidis is pretty much close to come to Sporting. The current reports are 15 million plus 7 in add-ons. Ioannidis was supposed to come, but we couldn't free a fee with Panathinaikos, so we bought Arder instead. So now Scottish finally, Ioannidis finally comes to Sporting, pretty much all the way done. And then the other two, one is almost done, which is Jota Silva from Nottingham Forest. It's pretty much finished. He hasn't even played for them in the since the Premier League started, nor for the Carabao Cup this last night. And then Yeramay from Deportivo de La Coruña. Fabrizio Romano reports that Sporting have now a 50% chance of signing him, and I believe until the end of the window we will get the numbers that Coruña want for him and close out that deal as well. So under every circumstance, I liked my club's transfer business. We got a new striker because we sold Gyökeres. Got the new striker in Luis Suarez, dude, certified good player, very good on the ball, chasing, never gives up, bro. With a lot of tenacity and a lot of desire to play. And selling Konrad Arder makes a lot of sense. He wants to play. He wants to be a starter. He's not going to be at Milan, but they play a lot of schemes with 4-4-2, so he will get more playtime there for sure. We get Ioannidis in, we get Jota Silva, Yeramay, and it's a pretty good window. It's a very, very good window. And now we have the big game against Porto this weekend. Our first big game since the Super Cup against Benfica. And Porto hasn't beaten Sporting at Sporting's house since 2023. So I hope that trend continues and we win that game as well. So yeah, guys, that will be all for today's podcast, man. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. If you could, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify, rate the podcast 5 stars. It helps tremendously. All glory to Jesus Christ. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.